Hey everyone, Steve Grogan, founder of Geek Wing Chun here. Please hit subscribe and like before we get started. I ask for that right away. Today, you're going to be watching me go through my entire high-intensity training workout. I wanted to post this so that anybody who doubts that 30 minutes once a week can get your results can see it's not too good to be true. It's not a lazy person's workout dream come true, because you can't be lazy and do this workout. I'm here with my trainer, Jay Vincent. He runs BioFit NY up in upstate New York. Currently his Clifton Park, New York location, it's just off exit 9 on I-87 for those of you who may be watching in upstate. And you planning to? There was a location in Albany, but had to cut ties with that. But are you going to open any other upstate New York?
Not anymore upstate New York. So I had a Albany location, but decided to pack up the MedX equipment, which was in that location. I'm going to be moving it to either Sarasota or Tampa, Florida. So down south.
Okay. Well,
so only one for New York.
Well, we're going to get going through this, and as we go through, I'm going to ask Jay some questions that I had before I got into this, so that some other people might have. We're going to jump right into it, and this actually leads into one question I have to pose for him, which is, why do you see me sitting down and getting right to work, and there's no warm-up, and at the end they will see there's no cool down? So why not?
Well, that's because we choose a resistance that allows you to reach what's called momentary muscle failure in about a minute or a minute and a half. The first few repetitions, done slow and controlled, are not very intense. They don't require much effort. That is your warm-up. What a warm-up is, well, most people use it as a set or an exercise of low intensity, doing what they believe is to get the blood flowing and get things warmed up. A warm-up is not required in any exercise, but if you're doing an exercise properly, the first few repetitions will be relatively low intensity, and that will allow time for blood to circulate and your heart rate to increase. And it's essentially a warm-up. So, if anything, a warm-up is psychological in nature, but it provides no real physiological benefit. Was that a little bit?
Oh, there we go. What about no cool down? Why no cool down?
Why cool down? That's my question. What the heck is even, what's the point of that? What do you mean cool down? Sitting and relaxing and allowing your body to recover. Ready? There. Accelerate. Push, 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 push. Further, further, further. Good. Control it down. Control it down. Ease out of the bottom. Now push as hard as you possibly can. Stay on it, stay on it, stay on it for 10 seconds. Keep pushing forward. As intense as you can. 9, 8, harder. 7, 6, try to move it now. 5, move it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool down, warm up. I believe that people came up with these sorts of things to make their workout longer, because they erroneously believe that you need to be in the gym for a certain amount of time, for whatever reason. But there's absolutely no physiological benefit to either. Just the way it is.
I'm not sure. I think that might be the.
No, that's fine.
The seat's fine for me.
I've always got it set at the same spot.
Okay.
Generally, everything is pretty much preset. And all I do is switch the weight real quick.
Just to add a note about, or you helped me there, where you put your hand on the machine when I was struggling at the end there. I'm sure there's some viewers out there might think,
why are you helping them?
You're helping them cheat.
Okay.
So
The purpose of an exercise is not performance. It is not to see how much you can lift or see how much you can do. The purpose of an exercise is to effectively fatigue and stimulate the muscle tissue through deep muscular fatigue. The reason I put my hand on here sometimes is to make him subconsciously think that I'm helping him, so that way he will contract harder. I've noticed over time, and a lot of trainers who do this as well, that simply by putting your hand on the machine, your subconscious mind goes, okay, I'm safe now, and they will contract harder. This allows me to help him generate a deeper level of muscular fatigue, which in turn will result in a better stimulus, a better response in terms of muscular strength, growth, and every other functional aspect of fitness that goes along with that. Their drive. I'm not helping him, and if in the event I were to help him, it would be called a forced repetition, which I'm probably going to do on this, where I am going to help him because he's contracting as hard as he can. You get a little deeper than that, right? Go now, fast, 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 deeper, deeper, good. Go again. Drive, 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 drive. So now I'm going to give him a forced repetition. Here, go, 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 go. He's stuck. My assistance is allowing him to continue a deep level of inroad through the entire range of motion. Here, I'm not helping him. There is no help. Here, go. Squeeze. Good. One more. These are called assisted or forced repetitions. Go, go, go. Now I'm going to help him get it all the way to the bottom. Hold it. 10 seconds. 9, 8. So he's holding it in the fully contracted position. Pull down. Faster, 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 faster. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Good. The whole point is fatiguing your muscles until the point they are incapable of producing a muscular contraction. When this occurs, it means you have completely fatigued every available motor unit and effectively stimulated them with enough stress to produce an adaptation with adequate recovery time. You cannot do this every day because we are stressing the muscles and everything that works with the muscles. That's going to be your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your bones, tendons, all the connective tissues. This is a stress. So we are deeply stressing the body. The body goes, whoa, that was tough. I need to adapt and improve to protect myself. So then we give a few days for this to occur, and then we do it again. People are under a huge misconception that your body is changing as you are in the gym. This is wrong. Exercise is a stress that your body adapts and recovers from. So doing this more is not better, but doing this more intensely is better. And if you're doing it more intensely, you have to do less. And that is why this is a short workout.
And speaking of, when you just said the thing about doing more there, that reminds me of one of the big differences between this and other workouts is, well, aside from the once a week 30-minute, is focus on something called time under load, or TUL, instead of reps, because that word more made me think of more. You know, people usually are like, I want to get more reps. So why? Well, I want to pose two questions to you. First is why time under load instead of reps? And the second, which is not related to that, but if you could explain the breathing, well, I think after that.
Okay, so exercise volume is not sets and not reps. That is the incorrect definition. Exercise volume is time under load or effort over time. So since he is continually loading the muscles without taking a break, notice how he's going slow and leaving the muscles under tension, I'm timing the amount of accumulative time under load or effort over time. So you take a traditional exercise set, go about 1, 2, 3, arbitrarily to 10 repetitions for one reason or another. They'll accumulate about 10, maybe 15 seconds time under load like this. Do 3 sets of that, they've done 45 seconds of muscular effort. We, in one set, are doing 1.5 minutes of continuous muscular loading. This is value. We are doing about twice the amount of muscular work, drive, fast, 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 as a traditional workout. This ends up being more exercise, push, than a traditional slow hour-long bodybuilder. Ready, go. I'm going to give him some negatives here, right? Easy. I'm going to help you up, go. Now, 5 seconds on the way down, slow. 5, 4, 3, pause, go. Another 5 seconds, come on, bite it. You got 2 more, control it down, pause it, pause it, pause it, pause it. Again, 5 seconds, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, pause it, go. I'm going to take you to the point where you can't even hold the damn thing. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, pause it, go. One more. You got 8 seconds this time. Ready? Slow. 8, 7, fight it. 6, fight it. 5, fight through here. 4, fight through here. 3, 2, gently through the bottom.
And the breathing.
The breathing, when you place a heavier demand on your muscle tissue, your cardiovascular system, its function is to supply working muscle tissue, metabolically working muscle tissue, with oxygen and nutrients and dispose of waste. If we are contracting muscles very intensely in speeding up aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration or metabolism, you're pulling in more oxygen, you're exposing more waste because we're contracting the muscles really, really hard. The cardiovascular system has to pick up its pace in order to supply the demands of the working tissue. So if the working tissue needs more oxygen, holding your breath, like most people do in the gym, is depriving it of oxygen. Aerobic respiration works, is dependent on oxygen to produce energy. If you hold your breath, your tissues cannot produce ATP and cannot create a muscle contraction. So I tell him to breathe a little more rapidly, so you're getting oxygen in, getting carbon dioxide out, and supplying aerobic respiration with what it needs to perform its function and produce ATP and allow for further muscular contractions. When you hold your breath, you might create a little more intra-abdominal pressure so that way you can move the weight, but our goal here is not to move the weight. Our goal is to use the machine to generate tension in the working tissue and derive a deep level of muscular fatigue. So breathe in, instead of holding it, holding your breath is going to allow us to generate a deeper level of muscle fatigue because we're going to allow aerobic respiration to do its job. And that's why I do it.
Oh.
Why do you, well, here's another thing. Why, when you're jogging, do you start? Because the working tissue is demanding more oxygen in order to keep you moving. You don't see anybody jogging holding their breath, do you? But for some reason, well, the reason is very simple. People are more focused on getting the handles up and getting the weight up. People will start to hold their breath.
And that actually goes back to something left out about the reps, which I heard about it. It's and we just forgot to include it. Is that a lot of people, when they're going with the multiple rep things, not only are they doing it a lot less time than this, but they're also, I'm exaggerating, but they're getting more momentum than muscle tension.
So momentum helps carry objects through space. That's what it does. So your body has evolved to try to use momentum because we evolved to conserve as much energy as possible. Our body does not want to use a lot of energy. So the average gym goer will recruit momentum because they think the objective is to move the weight. So they will recruit momentum during the exercise, effectively reducing the amount of energy or reducing the amount of fatigue that their muscles are receiving, making the workout not only less effective, but more dangerous. Because if you move something fast, you're going to create what's called shearing forces and generate more force in the connective tissues and joints. That's what reduces injury. So by moving slowly and reducing momentum, the working tissue is working harder, and we're almost eliminating any chance of injury. I've supervised about 15,000 sessions, and I've never had an injury, and I never will.
And before I start on this, the question I'll pose to you is, you talked about aerobic and jogging and stuff like that. A lot of people might be watching this and thinking, wow, he's got all these weightlifting he's doing. Does high intensity training have a separate cardio component? And if so, if not, why not? Or if so, why?
So your cardiovascular system improves in response to stress on the muscle tissue. So when you place a high demand on the muscle tissue, you effectively place a high demand on the cardiovascular system, which again is supplying the working muscle tissue with what it needs and getting rid of the waste. Your body does not know the difference of how you do this. Whether you're lifting weights, whether you're flipping a tire, climbing a tree, whatever, your body doesn't know the difference. As long as you are placing a stress on the muscle tissue, you are placing a stress on the cardiovascular system. Since this places a high amount of stress on the muscle tissue compared to walking or jogging, you're placing a high amount of stress on the cardiovascular system. the cardiovascular adaptation from resistance training is going to be much more effective than a traditional steady state locomotor activity, like walking or jogging or pull, because we're accumulating more stress. There, go. Come on, fast. Control down. You got a couple force reps, right? As fast as you can. Go. 2 more. See, I'm pretending to help him. I'm not helping him. Pull. 1 more. Focus on getting this last one up as close as you can. Just hold it down. So I'm going to help him get it up. We're going to do a static contraction. Hold it 10 seconds. Not only do you not need to be lifting weights up and down to stimulate muscle, you can literally hold it in place and relax. Because the muscle tissue is stressed by tension. Lifting creates tension throughout an effective range of motion, but you can literally also stimulate muscle to improve and your cardiovascular system to improve by simply holding weight. There's no need for additional jogging or any sort of cardiovascular activity on top of this, because we are stressing the muscle tissue enough to stimulate an adaptation in the cardiovascular system. About a month ago, I went to the doctor, basic checkup. He listened to my lungs, and he asked me if I was a runner. And I said no. He asked me if I was a swimmer. I said no. He said, well, what do you do? I said, I work out about once every 7 days. He listened to my lungs, and they sounded so good that he thought I was an endurance athlete. That is how effective this is for improving your cardiovascular system.
Okay. Now I gotta kind of lead you into the next answer here, because I was just thinking the lack of a separate cardio program might turn some people off, because they think cardio is what helps burn fat, and if it's not cardio, then can you answer me what actually does?
Okay, so fat tissue is there as almost a reserve energy tank to supply your body, to supply your body with energy in a food scarcity environment. So for instance, if there isn't enough food energy, you have excess tissue to provide your body with energy so you don't die. That's what fat tissue is. The way to mobilize this extra energy is to create an environment of a negative energy balance. So you need to be putting in less than your body needs, or you could try to burn off that energy. So say your body needs 2,000 calories a day.
What are you doing?
Say your body needs 2,000 calories a day. You can either try to burn off 500, which will take hours of activity, likely stimulate hunger, and wear your knees out in the process, or you can just simply not put it in. 1 second.
That's our mascot, Ace.
Lots. So
the answer to that is nutrition.
yes, so you want to create a negative energy balance. You can do so by trying to burn it off through activity, which is time-consuming, dangerous, and ineffective, or just not put the food in.
What kind of eating habits should people follow in combination with this?
Calorie deficit of some sort, so you want to find your basal metabolic rate. There's plenty of calculators online where you can find your basal metabolic rate, and simply eat less calories than that. The best macronutrient approach is higher in protein. So you want to make sure you're getting adequate protein, push, which is about 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight. Say you're 200 pounds, you want to do 150 pounds, you want to aim for 150 grams of protein a day. Push, come on, get up. Now keep pushing, 8 seconds, keep pushing. 8, 7, come on, 6, 5, get up. 4, try to move it. 3, try to move it. 2, So the reason we only need to do 1 set is because when you're carrying a set to momentary muscle failure, you are recruiting and fatiguing all slow, intermediate, fast twitch muscle in sequential order. So the first few low intensity reps are going to be recruiting your slow twitch muscle fibers, which produce very little, well, not very little, but less contractile force. So muscle fiber, slow, intermediate, fast twitch is recruited based on demand. So low demand exercise is recruiting slow twitch muscle fiber. slow twitch muscle fiber does not have a great growth potential. The most growth potential is in your fast twitch muscle fiber. So we can recruit these two ways. We can do something explosive, lift something really heavy, or slowly and in a controlled manner, take a set to momentary muscle failure. That's what we're doing in order to recruit and stimulate fatigue, the fast twitch muscle fiber, which has the most growth potential and is responsible for the most force production and or strength.
I'm trying to think of the best angle for this one.
The best thing would probably be
now, leaving nutrition for a second and going back to the weightlifting part of it. As you can tell, this is a circuit of the same exercises every week. Sometimes you might jostle up the order a bit, but it's the same exercises. And people say, oh, you keep doing the same exercises over and over, you'll hit a plateau and you'll stop seeing improvements. I've always wondered, wouldn't that be true only if they kept using the same weight?
That's exactly true, because people don't understand the basic concept of progressive overload. So people will go in the gym, use the same weight, same reps over and over and over again, because they simply do not know what progressive overload means. And in that case, yes, you will hit a plateau, but what we are doing is tracking progress, and as he gets stronger, we are adding resistance. This is called progressive overload. In this case, you can do the same exercises, and you should do the same exercises every time. Because when you adopt a new exercise, there is a skill component to that. So over the first few times of performing that exercise, your body has very little skill. And your strength improvement that you notice in that particular exercise is partially due to your body learning how to do it more efficiently. Now, if you keep the same exercises every time, every improvement that you see is going to be a strength improvement and not a skill improvement, because your body has already gotten past that skill adaptation. Hey, skull it down. Good. Control that. Control back. Control back. Push. Control back. Control back. Control back. Push. Two more. Heels. Drive. One more. Good. Bring this back. Static hold. 5 seconds. Hold it. Don't move it. 4. Don't move it. 3, 2.
I try to give my best.
So once you've recruited and fatigued all the muscle fiber by lifting to failure, research has shown over the last 40 years, pretty irrefutably, that additional sets are not only useless, because you've already done it, but they can be counterproductive in most cases. They can lead to overtraining. The reason most people will need additional sets is because they're not doing them like this. If they did them with this intensity, not only would they not need additional sets, they wouldn't even be able to tolerate them. I could put Steve on here in 10 minutes. He just did about 1 minute and 20 seconds of that. He'd get about 15 seconds. I could wait 45 minutes, put him back on here. He'll probably get about 25 seconds. His muscles are shot. Doing this again, the best analogy I like is you hit a fly with a fly swatter, and then you hit it with a baseball bat, and then you shoot it with a machine gun. You got it the first time. Any additional attempts to kill this fly or fatigue your muscle is going to do more harm than you did, with no additional benefit. So most people do need additional sets the way they train, because they are training very low intensity and very poorly.
Okay, I had one more.
I'm going to scoot it.
Okay. I had one more question, then I had some other, like a list of exercise myths. If we time this right, we might actually get all these done during this workout. But the next actual question is, we're saying those 6-day-a-week, 45 to up to 75-minute traditional workout programs are not going to get you these results. Then how is it guys like Tony Horton of P90X and Shaun T of all the various insanity programs, that's what they do, the 6 days.
I'm not going to say it doesn't get you those results, but the additional days they're doing are a waste of your time. At the end of a training career, as long as you are training your muscles intensely, progressively, with a volume and frequency that you can recover and adapt to, at the end of a training career, you'll all end up in the same damn place. The fact of the matter is, if you do it like this, you will get to that same place with about a fifth or a sixth of the time. So all these extra workouts that people are doing are providing no additional benefit. The fact of the matter is genetics play a huge role. So people are going to respond, people with great genetics are going to respond to everything. The difference is, this gets you to your genetic limitation in about a third of the time. That's the point. This may not provide better results. Well, compared to the way a lot of people are training, this will provide better results because people don't train intensely. You need to train intensely. But this is a far more efficient way of getting to the end of that. Ready? Fast, 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 fast. Good. One more. I'm going to give them a force rep and a static hold. Ready? Drive it. Drive it. Closer, closer, closer. Good. Pull it in for 8 seconds. Pull it in 7. Pull it in 6. Move it. 5, 4. Fight it. 3, 2. Relax.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That was the genetics that
Yes.
that Tony and Shaun, they're not all going to wind up looking like Tony or Shaun.
No, Tony and Shaun are where they are because of their genetics, not because of their exercise knowledge. And I am where I am because of my genetic, well, plus my exercise knowledge.
And we're also not all going to wind up, a lot of people are worried about the bodybuilder types where they're like, oh, that's so ripply, that's gross. We're not all going to wind up like
Nobody's
that.
going to want to look at that. Bodybuilders, first of all, are genetic mutants, plus a tremendous amount of drugs. The way you look from exercise is not really up to you. You cannot sculpt and mold your body into what you want it to be. There are genetic factors that play a role in this. That's going to be the amount of fat cells your body has, muscle belly length, your fiber type distribution, certain expressions of genes like interleukin 15, the amount of myostatin you have circulating in your brain. There's a gazillion different genetic factors that play a role in how you respond to exercise. And the ones who have all of these genetic predispositions generally end up becoming bodybuilders because they respond very quickly. So,
Okay, we got 2 exercises left. We're going to have to do as fast as you can address the myths that the ones I thought of anyway. So I'll throw you one, and then I'll get started. Myth number 1, muscle confusion. And go.
there's no such thing as muscle confusion. Your muscles don't have brains. So what people noticed is if they did the same exercise for a period of time and that did something different, they would get sore. While soreness is an indication that you've done something with your muscles, it's generally an indication you've done something new with your muscles. We can take this ab machine, train on it for months, bring in another one that is almost identical, but not identical, you will get sore. If you are using the same machines for a period of time, your body will get used to the machine and you will no longer develop soreness. So muscle confusion is a myth that derived from people thinking that soreness is an indication of an effective exercise. I can hit Steve on the leg with a hammer and create some soreness, but we would not say he exercised his quads. Soreness can be an indication that you've done something with your muscles, but is a very poor indication that you've done something effective in terms of exercise. Go about 2 more.
Myth number 2, functional fitness.
Squeeze. Oh, good. There we go. Functional fitness is a complete myth. There we go.
That was pulling me back.
Functional fitness is a myth because people are confused with the concept of what is called skill transfer. So people think that if you perform exercises that are similar to like a functional movement, like what's a functional exercise?
Punching
Like,
with weights in your hands?
yeah, that it's going to transfer to another activity. So running around and doing squats with a log over your head is going to make you only better at doing squats with a log over your head. Because there's a certain amount of skill developed through these functional exercises. People erroneously believe that these functional exercises transfer the skill over to other activities. That's false. Another good example is, for instance, you get used to your own keyboard. Well, try to use someone else's keyboard that you're not used to. You'll notice you're not as good at typing. It is the same exact activity. The only difference is extremely small differences in key height and key spacing. Yet, if you cannot transfer the skill of typing to a keyboard that is barely different, how are you going to transfer your skill from a functional exercise to, say, the football field or the hockey rink? It's a myth, and it is because people do not understand the concept of skill transfer and do not understand exercise physiology at all. If you make your muscles stronger, you will be able to do everything that requires any sort of physical effort better. That's it. That's all there is to it. Functional exercises are just less efficient, more dangerous ways of generating muscle.
All right, good, thank you. Myth number 3, after you reach a certain age, your metabolism doesn't work as well, so you can then forget about getting down to a certain weight or body fat percentage.
The reason a lot of people's metabolisms suffer as they age, a couple reasons. One is they lose muscle tissue. Muscle is a very metabolically expensive tissue, so the more muscle you have, the higher your basal metabolic rate. And people often confuse this by saying muscle burns more calories. That's just a stupid way of saying
Muscle
it.
burns fat. That's what
Whatever,
they say.
it's just stupid. So the thing is, your basal metabolic rate is dependent on how much muscle tissue you carry. As you age, your muscles will shrink if you don't do anything. They shrink. When you lose muscle tissue, your basal metabolic rate goes down, the amount of calories the body requires each day to carry out its functions. Generally, people continue to eat the same, if not more, so their basal metabolic rate goes down, people eat more, you gain fat. You can restore your basal metabolic rate by rebuilding lost muscle tissue. Also, hormones have a effect on this. Men lose testosterone as they age. Reduction in testosterone will affect your ability to burn fat, but training with weights and adding muscle tissue will restore testosterone levels as well.
And a quick other myth that I forgot, which he reminded me of while I said, when he said the muscle burns fat myth. It's not even really, this is one you don't have to feel because this is an easy one. Well, you gained weight because muscle weighs more than fat. Well, if you have a ton of, let me ask you, if you have a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers, which weighs more? It's a ton.
Yeah.
You just have a hell of a lot more feathers.
Okay. Muscle is more space efficient than
dense.
fat.
Yeah. Right, dense, more dense.
Muscle is, yeah, it's more space efficient. So I'm about 205 pounds. You take someone who's 205 pounds with fat, they'll look a lot bigger than me. Because muscle is more space efficient than fat.
Yeah.
Muscle does not weigh more than fat. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you,
even know why.
you have 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat, they're
And here's
both
the thing
5
too.
pounds.
Right. So if you're lifting weights and you're still gaining weight, the thing is you cannot add muscle tissue at the same rate as you can reduce fat tissue. You cannot do it on a 1-to-1 ratio. You can lose fat tissue far more quickly. You can lose fat tissue far more quickly than you can build muscle tissue. Building muscle is an extremely slow process. If you build 5 pounds of muscle in the course of a year, that's pretty good progress. So people will start exercising and they'll gain weight and they'll say, oh, because I'm adding muscle tissue. No. If you are overweight and exercising, the number on the scale needs to be going down. If it is not going down, you are eating too many calories. A lot of what happens is people start exercising 6 days a week. They go on that stupid elliptical and they stimulate hunger. So now that they've done so much activity without even realizing, because they don't watch their diet because they think that exercise alone is going to help them lose weight, they end up eating more calories than they originally did. And that's why they're gaining weight. They're not adding muscle. It's bullshit.
Okay, well, we're done with the workout. I had 3 more myths. We can just give like rapid fire speed round. because they're not going to be following us around.
And by the way, this workout is generally done with far less rest in between.
Yeah.
We're asking questions and answering questions today, so it is a lot slower. Generally, it's failure, boom, failure, failure, failure. In order, less rest in between exercises is going to keep the heart rate up. It's going to make everything a little more intense.
Okay, well, we're entering the speed round here. I mean, as short as they can be, but as long as they have to be answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Myth number 4. It would be best to follow a specific diet like Atkins, keto, primal, etc.
No, people just like to associate themselves with groups. I don't know why. Atkins is on the right track, but research has shown that as long as you're in a calorie deficit, your macronutrient breakdown makes absolutely no difference. But they did find that diets higher in protein result in better body composition because it has an anti-catabolic effect on muscle tissue. It helps you preserve muscle.
Okay. Myth number 5. Don't eat after a certain time of night because your metabolism slows down while you sleep, and it'll be that much harder to burn that meal.
That's
off.
bullshit. So the fact of the matter is, the eating at night is just additional calories you're tacking on in a 24-hour period. It has nothing to do with the time of day. Obviously, yeah, if you're eating in the middle of the day, you're a little more active, you're going to burn a little more off. But eating at night it's not because your metabolism is slower, it's because you're just adding additional calories by that midnight snack that you don't eat.
Okay, and last one, well, that I thought of, myth number 6. If you don't eat enough calories, you'll enter starvation mode.
Bullshit.
And you'll stop burning.
Bullshit. You can go to a third world country. They're not eating enough calories. Are they overweight? No, it's crazy. The reason that myth happens, starvation mode, is people are making an excuse for why they're not losing weight. The fact of the matter is they're not tracking the calories properly. So when I put someone on a 1,500 calorie diet, I actually put them on a 1,200 calorie diet because everybody, even if they're measuring food, is going to eat more calories. So it's an error in their measurement. They're just still eating too much. There's no such thing. You could not eat for months. The only reason we eat while trying to lose weight is to try to preserve as much muscle tissue as possible. You could eat nothing. You'll lose fat, but you'll also lose muscle. We eat in order to get enough to do it slowly over time to preserve muscle tissue. That's the only reason.
Okay, that was the last myth. So there you have it. We went through the HIIT workout. That's not high intensity interval training. Don't get confused. They look close when you abbreviate them. This is high intensity training. No interval, no extra I. High intensity interval is what's associated as
high intensity training is really redundant, honestly. I wouldn't even call us high intensity training. I would call this exercise. Exercise needs to be intense in order to stimulate changes in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I wanted to get a suntan, I stood on this fluorescent light bulb, would I get a suntan? No, it's not intense enough. Exercise needs to be intense in nature in order to generate an effective stimulus. So it's redundant, but we'll call it that.
I think, you know what, they probably named it that in reference to how it's not like the
right.
momentum.
Ellington Darden coined that term, but
okay.
It's redundant.
Yeah. But like I said, if you think 30 minutes once a week sounds like those old school 10-minute abs fad type things, you can see this. No, this is, and it gets results unlike those. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of people quit. They don't see the results. But I sure as hell have. I do it. What's that?
I do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was 241 pounds when I went to my doctor at the end of 2019. I started training here with Jay in January 2020. This is November 2020, so it's not even a full year yet. I'm down to, the last time I weighed myself, I was at 178. So, and also I didn't even get my nutrition on track until February. So I've actually been working out and eating right only about 10 months, and still went from 241 to 178.
With how much time per week?
with just the 30 once a week. 30.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you live in upstate New York and you want to check it out, Jay does offer the first session is free. That you can come and check out how sore it leaves you. I'm going to put a link in the description box that'll take you directly to the contact page on his website, which I think it's just biofitny.com.
Yep.
That's the main page if you want to browse around. But because I know some people can get lazy if they can't find the contact, I'm going to put it, you're going to go directly to the contact page.
It's an easy name, BioFit. I also do have a course. Maybe we can put the link in the
On
description.
Hit
I have a
Uni.
course that you can take. It will teach you everything about proper exercise application or high intensity training. You can take this course and go do it on your own. Obviously, it's not going to be as effective if you don't have an instructor, but if you want to learn more about it, take the course.
And that's on Hit Uni, right?
Hit Uni, yep.
Okay, well, I'll don't worry about trying to remember how to spell that or anything. It'll be in the description. And of course, if you either try just the free trial, or you try that course on your own, or if you come and train with Jay on a regular basis, come back to this video and leave a comment. I want to know what you think. And that's it. So
Yeah,
thanks,
right,
man.
man.
As always, I wouldn't be here without him. I'd be here without him. So that's all, and thanks, and see you later.